Have you ever felt underestimated simply because of your background? Can a struggling waitress change her destiny with just her hands gliding across the piano keys? That's the story of Emma Larson, a girl with a musical dream but pushed by life into the dark corner of hardship. A proposal from a wealthy and arrogant businessman seems like just a power play, but no one expected that the moment she placed her hands on the piano keys would silence the entire room. From a lavish party to a magnificent stage, from contempt to applause, Emma's journey is not just a story about music, but also a testament to the power of passion and determination. But will her talent be enough to overcome the invisible barriers? And what made a cold-hearted man like Charles Donovan change? Join me in exploring this emotional, surprising, and inspiring story. Emma Larson is a 24-year-old waitress working at a small diner on the outskirts of New York City. She has a warm smile that can brighten anyone's day, but behind that cheerful facade is a life burdened by hardship. Emma grew up in a poor neighborhood and learned the value of hard work early on. Her mother, who passed away a few years ago, was her greatest inspiration. Emma's childhood dream was to become a pianist, but life had other plans. She had to drop out of music school after her mother's illness drained their savings, and now she spends her days serving tables and her nights dreaming of melodies she can't afford to play. One rainy evening, a man named Charles Donovan walks into the diner. Charles is a wealthy businessman known for his arrogance and sharp tongue. He's throwing a big party at his mansion in a week, celebrating the success of his latest project. Charles is the kind of man who likes power and control, and he enjoys making others feel small. When he sees Emma, with her gentle eyes and modest uniform, he immediately dismisses her as unimportant. Charles calls her over to take his order. "What's your name?" he asks, barely glancing up from his phone. "Emma," she replies politely. "Emma, do you play the piano?" he asks, noticing the small silver charm shaped like a piano on the necklace she wears. It was a keepsake from her mother. Emma hesitates. "I used to." "Used to?" Charles smirks. "That's a pity. Well, maybe you can still entertain my guests." Emma frowns. "I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand." Charles leans back in his chair. "I'm having a party next Saturday. I'll pay you double your weekly salary to come and play. Surely you could use the money." Emma can feel the contempt in his tone, but at the mention of money, she pays attention. Her rent is overdue, and she's barely making ends meet. She reluctantly agrees, though something about Charles's smirk makes her uneasy. The day of the party arrived, and Emma stood at the entrance of Charles's lavish mansion. The chandeliers glittered like a cascade of diamonds, and the air buzzed with the chatter of New York's elite. Emma felt out of place in her modest dress, clutching her mother's old sheet music for comfort. Charles greeted her with a tone of mock cheerfulness. "Ah, the pianist has arrived. Everyone, this is Emma. She's here to entertain us tonight." He led her to the grand piano in the center of the room. The crowd gathered, their curious eyes making Emma's hands tremble. She hadn't played in years, and she could feel their judgment before she even touched the keys. "Go ahead," Charles said loudly, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Show us what you've got." Emma took a deep breath and began to play. At first, her fingers stumbled, and a few guests chuckled, but as she closed her eyes and let the music take over, something magical happened. The notes flowed effortlessly, painting a picture of sorrow, hope, and resilience. The room fell silent, captivated by the emotion in her performance. When she finished, there was a moment of stunned silence before the room erupted in applause. Charles, who had intended to humiliate her, stood speechless, unable to hide his astonishment. Later that evening, a woman named Margaret approached Emma. Margaret was a renowned music producer who had been invited to the party. "That was breathtaking," she said. "Where did you learn to play like that?" Emma shared her story, and Margaret was touched. "You have a rare gift," she said. "I want to help you." Before Emma could respond, Charles interrupted. "Help her?" he scoffed. "She's just a waitress. Don't let one performance fool you." Margaret gave him a sharp look. "Talent has nothing to do with status, Mr. Donovan. It's a shame you can't see that." The first turning point came a week later, when Margaret invited Emma to her studio for an audition. Emma's talent shone even brighter under professional guidance. and Margaret offered her a contract. But as Emma's dreams began to take shape, she discovered something shocking. Margaret was Charles's estranged sister. If this story touched your heart and left you with deep reflections on life, don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones. Let's spread the values of honesty, resilience, and the power of change in life together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to always be updated with inspiring stories, valuable lessons, and meaningful moments that we bring. We are not just telling stories, but also inspiring, motivating, and opening up new perspectives on life. Together, let's make each story a spreading force, helping us find better things in ourselves and in the world around us. Let's build a community where everyone can learn, change, and grow. Thank you for being with us. Wishing you always find meaningful stories. And don't forget to come back to us in the next videos. Goodbye, and see you again.